Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, most brutal empires in the galaxy. We're going to find out what it's really like to be born of Viltrumites, a life where strength is the only thing that matters, and any sign of weakness is a death sentence. I want you to really think about that for a second. We all dream of having superpowers, right? Flying, being invincible, the whole shebang. But what if all that power came at a price you couldn't even imagine? What if being born a hero meant you were actually born a weapon? Because for a Viltrumite, it absolutely is. Your life isn't your own. From the second you take your first breath, it belongs to the Empire. All right, let's just jump right in. Picture this. You've just opened your eyes for the very first time. You're on the planet Viltrum, but there's no warmth, no comforting arms. Instead, you're surrounded by armored figures, checking your vitals, deciding your fate right then and there. And your parents, they're just watching, still in uniform, waiting for the verdict. This slide really lays out the harsh reality of it all. If the doctor gives the thumbs up and says he's strong, you get to live. And if not, well, you're removed. Your crib isn't some cozy bed. It's a high-gravity chamber designed to force your tiny body to adapt and get stronger. And if you cry, nobody comes. On Viltrum, you learn your first lesson immediately. Weakness is never, ever rewarded. By the time you hit age 2, you're already starting to levitate. Your toys aren't soft and cuddly. They're heavy, weighted blocks. And your fight training? Oh yeah, that starts right away. If you fall down, if you stumble, your parents don't rush to help you up. They just stand there, arms crossed, watching. Because a true Viltrumite always stands on their own. So, you survive infancy. What about school? Well, at age 5, you're not heading off to kindergarten to learn your ABCs. Nope. You're thrown into what they call the Juvenile Combat Initiative. And trust me, it's not a playground. It's a battlefield designed for kids. In this slide just shows you how insane this toddler fight club really is. Your very first match, you're pitted against a kid named Leroux, who, by the way, is older, bigger, and way stronger than you. And the only rule? Incapacitate your opponent. No excuses. You get knocked down, you get back up, and you fight until you win. That's the only way you earn any respect. And school is just more of the same. Every single subject is taught through the lens of conquest. History class is all about the Empire's glorious bloody victories. Science is just weapon development. Even math is about calculating logistics for an invasion. And gym class? You guessed it, more combat training. Perfection isn't the goal, it's the bare minimum for survival. So you have to wonder, where does this all come from? Well, in history class, you learn about the Purging. This was a horrifying civil war where Viltrumites basically turned on themselves, killing anyone they considered weak. It was a global bloodbath that wiped out half their population, but it forged their core belief. Only the absolute strongest have the right to exist. Now we're getting to your teenage years. This is where every lesson, every beating, every drop of blood is put to the ultimate test. The training gets even more intense, and the missions become very, very real. At just 10 years old, think about that. You're on some conquered planet, and your commander forces you to decide the fate of captured rebels. You give the order to execute them, and that memory never leaves you. By 15, you're leading your own squad. You win, sure, but you lose teammates in the process. Doesn't matter. A victory is a victory. And then, at 16, the final test begins. This is it. The big one, the Viltrumite trials. It's the culmination of your entire life's training. And failure isn't just going home in shame, it's death. You're dropped onto a high-gravity moon and put through a brutal gauntlet. First, a survival race where the slowest get left for dead. Then you're in the arena, and guess who you're facing? Your old pal, Laro, again. Then there's a team exercise, which is really just a test to see how well you can use others as tools. And it all culminates in the finale. A bloody, free-for-all battle to the death. So what's the result of this whole brutal process? Out of 30 candidates who started, only 3 are left standing. And you are one of them. You're finally given the insignia of a Viltrumite warrior, but there's no party, no congratulations. Just a cold, chilling warning. Don't make us regret it. So, you made it. You're a full-fledged warrior of the Empire, and war just becomes your 9 to 5. Descend, crush, pacify, and repeat. But as the decades and then centuries roll by, you start to notice the cracks in the Empire's perfect facade. Then when you're in your 50s, you get the news. Your father is dead. The official story is a training exercise, but you hear the whispers that he showed some kind of defiance, and the Empire punished him for it. At his funeral, nobody talks about the man he was. They only talk about the soldier. And those little doubts you've had for years, they start to grow into something much bigger.
Not long after that, High Command gives you a new mission. They tell you your genetics are exemplary, and it's your duty to reproduce. But not on Viltrum. No, you're being sent to a peaceful little planet called Coralis. Your job is to blend in, have kids with one of the locals, and create a whole new generation of hybrid soldiers for the Empire.
And on Coralis, for the first time in your entire life, you actually experience peace. You integrate, you start a family, and you find yourself admiring their way of life. I mean, look at the contrast here. Everything you were taught, strength, conquest, duty, it's all challenged by what you find on Coralis. Community, harmony, and what it really means to be a family. But you know it can't last. Sooner or later, the day you've been dreading finally arrives. High Command contacts you. They order you to return to Viltrum and to bring your children with you so they can be turned into soldiers. You're facing an impossible choice.
And this is the moment of truth. You contact High Command, and you lie. You tell them you've encountered some unforeseen complications, just to buy a little more time. In that single instant, you choose your new family over the Empire you've served your entire life. And you know, deep down, this isn't just a lie, it's a declaration of war.
And when the Viltrumites inevitably arrive, you lead the planet's last, desperate stand. You're completely outnumbered, totally outmatched, but you fight with everything you have. Your goal isn't to win, you know that's impossible. Your goal is just to give your family enough time to escape, to give them a future free from Viltrum's grasp. You die a traitor to your empire, but a father to your family. So, that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? On Viltrum, your name is erased, remembered only as a betrayal. But to your family, you're the hero who chose freedom over tyranny. So what is the true measure of strength? Is it unwavering loyalty to an empire built on conquest? Or is it the courage to sacrifice everything for the people you love?